Morning, everybody. And just so you know, if I happen to go a little bit long and I end up on the cover of the Business Record, everybody from the Business Record is going to be in the sermon this weekend. My name, and we're focused on the 10 plagues. What do you think the odds are that the preacher on the panel would start his 5 minutes by quoting Roger Daltrey, the lead singer of The Who? Did I just encourage you to gamble on odds? What are the odds of that? Who are you? I really want to know. I don't know if it's because Roger Daltrey was influenced by some chemical substance or because it's such an important question. It's pretty much the only lyric of that song. And it keeps repeating over and over and over again. Who are you? Because underneath the questions of what we do and how we do it is this deeper question. This question of who and why, which you've already heard a little bit about this morning. I'm guessing most of you are here today not because it's simply something to do, but you choose to be here this morning and you want to do things like this because it's part of who you are. Which leads to one of my 10 ideas. In fact, the only idea I'm going to verbally share with you today because I'm a preacher, and there's a good chance I'll only have time for one idea. So let's drill down into it. Identity leads to mission and vision. Most of the rest of my 10 ideas are focused on what we do as leaders and how we do it, and those are important, but I want to encourage you this morning to dig a little deeper into your souls and ask a more fundamental question. Not simply what, or why, or how we do things, but why, and even better, and more importantly, who. Who are you? Who are you as a human being? After all, you're a human being, not a human doing. You have a soul. Who are you? As leaders, we'll never really know what we're doing, or at least we'll never really be particularly good at what we're doing, or able to sustain what we're doing, which is our mission, or where we're going, which is our vision, until we really know who we are. Our identity. Rewind 2 years ago to this time of year, is October or early November, and my wife Sally and I were in Cleveland, Ohio, downtown, at a baseball stadium at the end of Game 7 of the World Series. And we were celebrating because I have a friend who's a Major League umpire, and he knows who we are. He knows that we grew up on the north side of Chicago. He knows that I would cut school to take the CTA down Addison to Wrigley Field, to sit in the bleachers for $2 and to cheer for the Cubs when they were horrible. Absolutely horrible. But it's who we were. It's who I am. It's who my wife is. And so he, as a friend, gave us these tickets to go to this World Series game. And my wife works for Southwest Airlines, so we got on her plane like 7 different directions and finally landed in Cleveland. And that's how it works here in Des Moines. And we finally got to Cleveland and we got to Game 7, and it was holy. It was righteous, it was heaven on earth, it was heavens opening, literally rain coming down to pause the Cleveland comeback, and then Chicago wins, and 108 years of suffering. And I find myself in my Cubby blue and red alongside of my wife and about 10,000 other Cubs fans who had found a way to get to that game, who were staying for an hour and a half after the game, just hanging out, watching nothing happening anymore on the field, and singing over and over and over. And I'm sorry if you're a Cardinals fan. Go Cubs, go. Go Cubs, go. Well, why do we sing that song? Because it's who we are. Because it's who we are. What's your song? Who among us this morning are Hawkeye fans? Yeah, see, you're feeling it? Cyclone fans? With your seedless watermelons, go. Yes. Panthers, let's not forget Panthers. Or Bulldogs, of course. Isn't it funny how we get like that? Wartburg Knights, Lutheran Norse. Yeah. Had to throw in the Lutheran College. Moving on. So let's move. Go Grinnell. Go Grinnell. Yes. Mr. President, thank you. All right. Let's move from illustration back into the workplace and leadership. Ask yourself this morning not just what do I do at work and how should I do it, but who am I and why? And even deeper and more important question, who gets to tell you who you are? Who do you give that authority to? Do you let the ever-changing whims of our culture tell you who you are? Do you give the authority to other people or other groups who don't necessarily care about you and don't have your best interest at heart? Does that make sense? What if, instead of trying to do something in a way that you were never created to do, you let the ones, or I would suggest the one who made you, who really loves you and knows you, and who really does have your best interest at heart, remind you of who you are this morning? When the late, great Pastor Fred Rogers, better known as Mr. Rogers, was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Emmy Award, he invited the theater packed with TV superstars to take 10 seconds to remember who they were, by remembering the people who loved them, and by remembering the people who identified them and had their best interests at heart. And I want to close by doing that with you this morning. And as Mr. Rogers said, I'll give you 10 seconds, and I'll watch the time. Think of the people who love you, who get to tell you who you are, who know you, who have your best interest at heart. 10 seconds. This is who you are, genuinely, authentically, and that leads to what you do, to your mission and your vision. And if we get those backwards, not only will you be less productive, but you lose your soul. And as the wisdom, the timeless wisdom of Scripture reminds it, what does it profit people to gain the whole world, but lose their souls? Remember who you are. Sing your song.